Hello. Hello, I want to speak about having the truth in your hands and wanting other people to share it and get it. Well, there's only uh, one or two, well, mostly religion after um, political affiliation, but that's less. The domain where people are more sure of what they believe is just a domain that we shouldn't be sure at all. That's religion. And the one thing I always say, what makes you what makes you think that you have the truth in your hands, while just because rather than other people? That means what makes your religion, considering that there is one real religion, what makes your religion so special that makes you convinced of that? And well, you're convinced you're right. What if you were a member of that religion? You would be convinced of just another thing. So that proves that you can be perfectly convinced of something wrong. Second thing, they've been bombarding us with this I call bullshit. Well, now I know it is, but when I was exposed to all this thing, I took like children at face value what they told me. Uh, Other consideration: why do they inculcate these things into us when we are children? Well, because if we um, hadn't been we exposed to this since our young age, we wouldn't believe. I wouldn't believe, or nobody would believe, that there is a God who, or a prophet that flew on a rag from one town to town, another who raised the dead, another who walk on water. It sounds like a magician, sounds like a charlatan, it sounds like unbelievable. Well, we should believe something that's very unbelievable. And as I see other people say, that's not something I came up with. Extraordinary facts require extraordinary evidence. I always say it's written in the Bible. Well, assuming you believe the Bible, we come to the first point. Why should I believe the Bible? Because if you want people to understand how nonsensical all this stuff is just read it. Read the Bible. You know why in the past many holy books were written in languages people could not really understand, in ancient languages, because they don't want people to have access to the original, because they want to interpret for you and chew them in a way that is believable. So they want you to believe in the Bible, but if you really believe it, it doesn't make sense. So they come up with a far-fetched theory, but this you do not have to take them at face value. It's allegorical. It's whatever. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. We want they The point is, we are exposed to this, and they create a sense, if you don't believe, you are guilty of something. They drench you with a sense of guilty, of guilt, of being guilty if you don't believe that stuff. That's why you need a whole society, a whole structure to make people um, believe in that. Thus, you have a whole state the Vatican, not only Muslim states, but the Vatican was a whole state in the past half of Italy, a quarter, I don't remember exactly, under the Vatican, well, let's say a third of Italy, under the Vatican, it was the real ancestors were the Roman Empire that embraced Christianity. Well, the whole word, the simple word empire, it's a bad word. Empire means you impose your country to other countries. Well, empire. We shouldn't have empire anymore. Well, we have disguised empire like the United States. It's a kind of economical, also military empire in a more subtle way, and the European Union is an empire. So the idea is that the whole society is perfused with these ideas. There's no proof, like there's no proof that we should be in the European Union the way it is. We haven't been really asked if you want to be part. If you have been asked, they asked 1, 2, 3 times, unless they got the right result, and that's not democratic at all. The same goes for religions. Children should develop their personality and decide whether to be religious or not. But the evidence and the rationality proves that it's very difficult to find out the reality. First of all, because so many religions, and that leads to the conclusion that most of them are man-driven. That means man-made, because if there is just one God with one will, there should be one religion. But if we have many religions, either God is a schizophrenic and it's not really God. What kind of entity would give some information to a prophet and some information to another prophet in a conflicting way? And we have to resort to the idea there is some, I don't know who or what from outer space came up and infused telepathically this idea into terrestrians, or it's a man-made stuff. I'm inclined to believe the second thing. Or, well, most of religion are false and one is the truth. Which one is the truth? Is the truth? Well, the one you believe in. Well, I strongly recommend watching whatever has to do with this, because you will be exposed to a lot of criticism, condemnation. They look down on you just because you don't claim to be religious, a believer. And I watch also videos of people who believe, and what they say is not convincing at all. Well, I know it's difficult to believe. There's no certainty about what's going to happen when we are dead. There's no entity that is benevolent towards us and take care of us. And no matter how we pray, there be no result. It's difficult to accept this dark reality. But assuming it's the truth, believing in a false God that doesn't exist, doesn't help us at all in not getting illness, become richer, having a fair society. But sometimes if we don't believe there's an afterlife, or we don't know whether there is or not, and we don't know what's after, we will be more focused on this life. We would take care of all these assholes that rule our society. I mean, these elite of Illuminati or rich people have, I know, most of the wealth in the world, we would be, we would take care of our friends, and without fear of being condemned to hell, but just we think it's the right thing to do. That's the first video where I try to talk some common sense into people who are so smug about their religious beliefs, and we should be endowed with some knowledge to talk back. And one book I read, and I this book by a person who died cancer, and didn't change his mind about God. I admire people who stand their ground. You can change your mind, but not because of fear, because you have new evidence. This is God is Not Great by Christopher Hitchens. You know, it's difficult. It's very difficult to tell other people you don't believe in God, or I wouldn't say it doesn't exist. It's say that there's no evidence that a God, a human God, like we imagine, that takes human form like Jesus Christ, or speaks to people and tell them what to eat, what not to eat, the way they should cut skin around their penis, or other very, very strange stuff that God tells us to do. Well, I don't believe in that God, and but I think that it's not for us with our limited mind to understand God, who created the universe and who created the creator. Our mind gets lost because it's a circular reasoning. Well, there must be some values not be created to create everything. Or but if an uncreated being can be exist, what the uncreated thing instead of being God, it's us. It's very strange, but I think that it's a circular reasoning, and we are not equipped with this. We live in this world. There's been an evolution, and our mind reflects the world around us. This is a material world of stuff, of things we can see, and I think that we should make the most of the time that we have on this earth for sure, and try to live as long as possible and as good as well as possible. But all the other stuff, why should we invent stuff to be better? Otherwise we will continue to believe in Santa until, well, our whole life. Well, however bad our reality is, and this is sometimes raised from Buddhism, that the way I see it is not a religion. It doesn't, at least in its simple form, doesn't speak about God, of an entity that judges us and so selfish, and that would damn us to hell just we don't believe in him, who that matter hid himself in nothingness, and is so selfish and so full of himself. Well, you're God that wants us to believe in him, and if we don't believe in him and we do something against him, we are condemned. But if we kill people, we do very bad stuff, but at the end of our life we ask for his forgiveness, well, we are forgiven, at least in Catholic Church. And other people who didn't believe in him because there's no evidence, and rational people, and even if there were a God, Why should this God get mad at us for not believing in Him, given the scanty evidence and the contradictory evidence that we have in all religions? Why should we do? God is not great.